Hello guys, and welcome to another video. This one is going to be about the Sisters of Morrigan event, and I'm not really going to focus much on the sisters. I'm going to speak mainly about Arisen Morrigan, but I will go over briefly the other sisters. The stuff they drop can be good, but upgrading it would be the problem. So I find that you might have an easier time trying to upgrade stuff from normal bosses where the resources are plentiful, rather than trying to upgrade stuff from these sisters. I'll tell you why. The sister Neiman, that's the tier 6 one, she requires titanium, which comes from Titan, and she also requires earth stones, which at tier 6 is a bit hard to get. Both are hard to get at tier 6. At tier 7 you have Sister Bad, and she requires Balerite and I believe Greater Souls, which at tier 7 that is going to be a bit of a challenge. Tier 8 Sister Maka requires Avalon Ore and Greater Souls, so that is going to be even more difficult for some persons. So I would say just focus on your normal, what would I call those now? Normal bosses is what you call them, I believe, and you will have a better time upgrading the weapons you get from those. So let us move on to the focus, and that is going to be Arisen Morrigan. I probably should have raid not found. Oh shit, I think I left the view distance. Yes, I did. Let me see if I have any in close view distance. If I do not, I'm going to go ahead and just go over to the codex and look at her there, because I'll be having some videos of the different classes taking on Arisen Morrigan in modest to a very early gear, so you guys can try it out for yourselves. So I have killed 404 Arisen Morrigans, and these are the drops that I have seen. Now I'll go briefly over her in general, and then we'll go into the drops. So Arisen Morrigan is, I don't know how to put this. She's my ex. She's my ex-girlfriend. Like, she's that one ex that I like seeing. So we have a complicated relationship. So when you see us fighting, please do not report me. It is not any type of gender crime. It's just, that's our love language. She's resistant to dark, holy, and dragon, and those are pretty much my strongest things. So she can resist it pretty well. What resist means is that if you use the spells, they'll do half the damage to her. So if you use something like even a Fey Chimera, half of his dragon damage will be resisted. If you use dark spells or holy spells or dark element on your weapon, half of that damage will be resisted. So you don't want to do that. She has some really deadly moves. That's what made me fall for her in the first place. Coup de grace. Oh my god. Oh my god. You're going to want to take Cure Bleeding for this one, especially if you're a realm shifter. But honestly, any class can use it, because when you are bled, you get a reduction in your critical chance. So you have a lower chance to actually strike your critical. I'm not quite sure just how much it is, but there is a reduction in your critical chance. You have the normal B Strike, is just the dragon damage spell. Envy is, I think it's an elementless spell. I'm actually not sure what Envy is, but it is dangerous. That's what I am sure about. Lustos Nonostores, or whatever the fuck that is called, is another dragon spell. Omni Strikes, normal physical. This spell 2 is what you're going to want her to spam, so you're going to want to have in some jewels like assassin jewels or heretic jewels. I'll be speaking about this stuff when I go into the individual classes fighting her, and my recommendation is going to be just have a modest setup and be able to do like 4 million damage to her each time you fight her, and by then like 4 tries will get you 16 to 17 million damage. So this spell too is something you're going to want her to spam. How you do that is up to you. There are many ways. It's just whenever she has on any type of negative status or any type of defense downs, she will try to remove them. That's all that is. Great Plague is her ultimate, and if she says you are weak, say, yes, mommy, I am, and maybe she will miss you. If you try to front, if you try to say, no, I'm not, if you try to say anything other than agreeing with her, she is going to kill you. If she doesn't kill you, she's going to do a lot of damage. If she doesn't do a lot of damage, then you are very strong, and kudos to you. Do not fucking hit my girlfriend. Get out of that fight right now. You're not supposed to be fighting my girlfriend if you're strong. Miasma 3. Miasma 2 times 1. That would still be 2. Okay. Never mind. Miasma 3. Miasma 2 plus 1. Miasma 3. So that gives you toxic. It gives you blight. It gives you a lot of nasty things. If you get these while you have on certain things like Zerks, I don't know what to tell you, Chief. You gotta clear it. You gotta clear it. You have to clear all of the defense downs if you get any from your Mimic's Mischief or whatever spell you're using. And you have to clear, if you're cursed, you have to clear it. Or if you're toxic, you have to clear it, especially toxic. I don't have to talk about Spark 6 or Tremor 6, because those are just spells of elements, lightning and earth respectively, and Unstable Channel is her version of Deific Channel, which she pops up ever so often. So another good use for certain jewels, because when you've reduced her defenses, then that is a lot less effective. Now let us go down to the drops. So the drops of this young lady are, wow, she got so much. She got a big bag. I got her a really big bag, and she dangerous. She dangerous. I told her, put cosmetics in the bag, ma'am. Put cosmetics. Like a little lip gloss, a little powder for your face, a little makeup, like normal woman. No, this lady wants to have him fucking Arisen Bad Kata, fucking bow, big ass shoes. Fucking, what's this thing? Big ass fucking, so many things. Like, why? So, while you're farming her, you're going to be looking for one of two things. Either Arisen in front of the word, or Arisen Fae. And that is very dependent on the type of style you're playing, the type of class you're playing, and what would I say now? The ascensions you have in those classes, because the Arisen Fae items, they take away a lot of mana and HP. So if you're using something like Deity and you have on 4 items, that's pretty much already like 1800, 1500, 1600 negative HP and mana. And you know that you really want that extra HP and mana, because Deity scales differently from other classes where you need to be below 50% of your HP for your passive to start kicking in. So the more HP you have, the more mana you have, the more freely you can work in your demigod passive. So some of the key items that the classes might love: the Arisen Fae Bad Kata, that's a really good one for realm shifters or other classes that like a lot of attack. So that would be Deity 2. I find that Realm and Deity would use that item best. You have Arisen Crow Song, is a really good one, especially for carry builds. You have the Banshee Gear. The Banshee Gear are what I'm looking for right now. I have some, but I could still use more. I would love them elemental, even though elements don't really work, but that's another conversation. So Arisen Fae Neemon Havoc, really high attack for some carry builds, for some deity builds. I heard some Gilgas even saying they might be interested in that weapon. I'm not sure why they would be, but maybe it is something. Maybe carry builds for Gilgas would utilize that well, actually. A lot of stuff are here. The useless stuff would be like the Arisen Realm Qatar, garbage. The Eye of the Morrigan, it's not garbage, but this month is also Ferocious Ceros, so you'll want that adornment in place of the Eye of the Morrigan. But if you somehow missed it, you didn't see this video, you passed the Ceros event and you're just now seeing this video when the Arisen Morrigan event has begun, that is still a decent one to get for some critical. So the warrior stuff for Gilga, garbage, but for Deity or Beo, very strong, especially if you get them Arisen instead of the Fae, because if they're just Arisen, they'll have stable stats, but they won't have the negative downsides, then is what I'll say. So yeah, Ambrosia is also a really good one for persons who missed the Ichor this month from the Pumpkin Spider. That one is another good one that removes negative stat downs. And you will need to remove your negative stat downs versus this young lady as soon as you get them, because I know that a lot of us use Mimic's Mischief, or even some of us use Bears or Djinns. So those all have the negative stat down debuffs when you buff. So Ambrosia is really good for that. It sure would be much better because you don't get any stats. Ambrosia, I like it as a heretic because it gives me just a little bit of mana and a little bit of HP. Realms might not like it because it's going to reset your HP. So, you know, you have to give and take and farm the right stuff when the right stuff is available. Not every single potion or every single item is going to work for every single class. You have to learn to put 2 and 2 together, as they would say in my culture, and use stuff in places that they make sense. Don't try to just be using potions or just try to be using gear. Mix and match and see where you excel when you wear this or where you excel when you drink that. So stuff like that. So I think I've spoken about it a bit. I'll speak about her immunities. Oh my god, this is embarrassing. So this is kind of embarrassing, but yeah, I don't have them filled out. So I'm going to go on a thingy I have here that has them. So we are seeing that we are seeing that she is immune to stuff like bleeding, she is immune to burning, she is immune to frozen, all of the elements. She is pretty much immune to almost everything except the temporary downs, the temporary defense down and the temporary resistance down. She is also not immune to, what's that thing called now? The new one. Stasis. She is not immune to stasis. I've seen her stasis before. I'm going to tell you the other things that she's immune to in a second. I'm looking through them. So she's not immune to blind. She's not immune to sleep. No, she is immune. Sorry. Yeah. She is immune to sleep. She is immune to stunned. She is immune to blight. She is immune to burning. She is immune to petrification. She is immune to rot. She is immune to the normal res down and the normal defense downs, but not the temporary ones. So that is where the jewels come in clutch, or even the assassin spec for some melee characters based on your playstyle. So I'm hoping that was a good deep dive. I'm going to go ahead and highlight some of the best weapons again, just so that persons are clear. So let's go back over some of the best weapons. So the Bad Katha for Realm Shifter, that's like the strongest attack weapon in the game. So you want the Fae, Arisen Fae one for the most attack. Except if you are in a tanky build, like say you have you have Arisen Fae Raven Garb in your build and you know that that is already a negative 450 mana. You don't want the Arisen Fae Bad Catha in there at that point because that's like negative 800, 900 mana. And then where do you get mana from to do stuff? So in that case, you'd want the Arisen Bad Catha, which is also very amazing. Now, as I'm telling you guys the names of these stuff, I'm expecting you guys to go and look them up and look at their stats. I'm not going to go through everything stat for stat because that would make this video like an hour long. And we're all trying to use our time wisely here. That's why you guys are here watching this video instead of trying to figure this stuff out on your own. So still do a little bit of your part. So as I said, the Banshee gear for mages and deities, heretics and deities, really nice. I like it. You have the Arisen Fae Crow Song. I like it for carry builds, really nice. Arisen Fae Maca Pillar. That is the strongest magic stat weapon in the game. But notice I didn't mention it because I don't love that item, but it's awesome. But I just have other items that I prefer to use in the stuff that I do. However, I would really love Arisen Fae Mecha Pillar for my T8 carry dungeons. My T8 ones seem like they would benefit from it a lot. My T10 ones too, but sometimes if like monsters come back to me and I have to use Twin Blast, sometimes Twin Blast isn't enough, whereas Requiem 3 is usually enough. That's why I like having Arisen Fae Crow Song as my offhand. But overall, the Arisen Fae Maca Pillar would be better. It's just that is just a personal preference of mine. So you're definitely going to want to hunt the Arisen Fae Maca Pillar too for certain builds. You also have the Arisen Fae Neemon Havoc. That one has really immense attack too and is good for certain builds. You have the Arisen Fae Cuirass and Greaves, and those, they aren't that useful in my opinion because like if you have the mage versions you can still use them, so it's not like that one in particular is awesome. But if you're trying to go for a tanky deity build or a tanky Beowulf build, they are amazing. So don't sleep on them. If you have nothing else, they are amazing. They have immense stats. The Arisen Mecha Pillar is decent too without the negatives of the minus HP and the minus other thing. And I said other thing. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to remember all of this stuff. But yes, especially the simpler stuff like the mana and HP. Sometimes I forget those words, man. But yes, so those are the core items that I would recommend. And yeah, I would fight one now, but this video has already gone on for a bit long. And I think I will have better luck fighting them in individual videos as each class early game in trash gear. So I'm going to try to do that and we will see how that one goes. I should have gone through everything here, honestly. But if I did not, if you have any questions, you know what to do. Leave them in the comment section below or enter my server and ask them in the question area. I would like to take this time now to shout out my Patreons. I love my boy Sexy Moto, my boy Aaron. I really need to learn Orban's name properly. Our boy Burton. Thank you all for subscribing to the S tier. I also have Deluxe, but sometimes I forget about Deluxe because he's hardly around. Sad face. I miss you. Anyway, guys, I am going to go ahead and head out, and I hope this was a good one. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.